exciting thing, you fire and police dogs, I don't know if anybody knows of the West Appreciation Day on, what was that, June 3rd, and both the new dogs and a couple others there, but we, for the first time in about 4 years or so, have arson detection dogs, so Wally, went into service, right at the end of May, early June, so his family was out in Maine for 4 weeks, working 10, 12-hour days for like 3 weeks straight. And came back, and so he's always been into a couple fires for investigation. Unfortunately, we've had a few of the facility, and then we've got Ranger that one town. I don't think Ranger's quite trained up to speed yet. I think there's some more training. He's not quite in the role, so. But yeah.
He's darling though.
He's adorable. He is,
He's
yes.
loud.
He's getting a big boy. Yes, he is. Yeah. Pools and splash pads open for the summer. Fireworks, just remember that use of fireworks is permitted within the city limits. So we have that ordinance, I think, all of the first year of fireworks for the league in the state of Iowa. We have not allowed discharge of fireworks, but of course the city fireworks nets, the state requires us to allow the sale of fireworks in the city. And then garbage recycling the yard waste is basically the trucks coming at a slightly different time than we have in the past. We're complimenting the ones and trying to do that. Actually, schedule in my neighborhood still, so, but you may see that. So just if your garbage and recycling coming in, literally, you be surprised at how many sellers. So, yeah, so that's the good news. Fire department.
Have fires, just come to your house.
What's that?
Have fires come to your
It's always kind of interesting. I was thinking about that yesterday with Father's Day. It was Father's Day a year ago that I was actually in the house and the house plants. There's a fire down the street. My text had gone off, and I assumed it was one of the lights. That's how we alerted me. So walk down there and then, yeah, across the trail, which is a great reminder, and we're going to start to do some more public safety announcements. But the one fire across the trail caused was hot ashes flowing in the yard department. So they put in the yard department, and a lot of people use store right up close to the house. So if you're having backdoor fire pits, any of that, even barbecue, any of that type of stuff, key to that is that those coals, you can think they're cold, but they will stay hot even there for days and days on end. So, a couple things, either just like what I do with my fire pit is just like put it in the water and just let it set, or or put it in a steel or metal container with a self-holding lid. Or that's we typically, even though it's commonsensical, we typically get one or two of those. So that's not. So,
thing with, that's what the fire came from. So I could do that, or you just admit that you did. But she wasn't really happy about having to admit to it. But I these little ones, all on the bottom, about 100 foot patio.
Just, yeah, it's.
Common sense would say no, but convenience would say, I won't get caught.
I'm sorry, but you can't teach common sense.
Well, no.
It's not so common, yeah.
You just can't teach common sense.
Yeah, so, yeah, the most important thing is just people don't realize that those bowls and wood embers stay hot, and they'll form a crust on the outside, and it'll look like it's completely cooled down, but inside it's still really, really hot. So they just sit in the yard and smolder until they get just enough air that they will ignite. And of course, that plastic then, once the plastic starts on fire, then that's very high BTUs and spreads very rapidly. So
It burns fast and then makes a real mess.
Yep.
It's
Yep. So
black.
you'll start seeing some other, like I said, public service announcements out for those. That's, after that one across the trail, it's just like I said, we get one or two a summer. We're gonna start to do some stuff on our social media networks. We're gonna try to start to get something in the utility bills too, because I know not everybody looks at social media. So we're gonna try to get a couple different avenues with that. With that being said, we've had some good, nice dry weather, unfortunately. So just be careful with any fire pits or any grills or anything else that you're doing, just because we've got some super dry weather here. So I'll stop with the sad and depressing news. No, move on to a couple items of good news here. We had a peer accreditation team in the first week in June. So we've been accredited since 2018, and we get every 5 years you have to go again for accreditation. They don't call it re-accreditation anymore. So we're going for a second round of accreditation. Peer team came in and visited over the course of 3 long days, and they recommended us for accreditation again. So now we have to go sit in front of the Commission for Fire Accreditation International in August in Chicago. So me and a couple members from the fire department, City Manager Pomerantz, and then the mayor is going to join us as well, sitting in front of the commission. So I mean, it's not finalized, but usually that's a formality. So as long as I don't misspeak too badly, then we'll be accredited again. So that's exciting, because shout out to our operations chief, assistant chief Andy Olson, did a ton of work with that, and just did a great job and great work. And he's not the only, men and women through the fire department, but he managed the effort, and just a lot of good work through the years. And then we have I think I mentioned last month, we have a class of 7 probationers that are in their fire academy. This is their last week of the academy, so they will hit shift on Saturday. So some new faces riding fire trucks here on Saturday. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Chief?
Thank you for your team for coming out and taking it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I saw some pictures, and the pictures looked like it was a great day. So
She had her baby.
yes, she did. Yes,
Megan jumped in, and they made a great team to coordinate all that.
Yes.
It was a good day, and the fire department did a wonderful job with the kids, as they usually do.
They usually do.
So it was just fun to see them all out there. Turn around and just before they got done at the end of their hour, and it was warm enough that they were we were talking to Sparky and the lady that was with her, I'm not sure what her name was, but this little girl came over, and she couldn't have been more than that tall, blonde head, and she saw Sparky, and she came up and she put her arm around her leg and gave her a big hug. Just melted your heart. She really did. And she got down with her and she hugged her, and then she got a picture with her from her dad and stuff, and that girl was just, and you think, this is all worth it just to see that.
Awesome.
And we know that's happened 100 times over on that day with other kids at different sizes, seen with different ones with the mascot, but just see a little girl as big, just, oh my, I get to be a hug with that. So the fire department sure does a great job for us out there, and we sure appreciate you. So,
The lady that was with Sparky was great with the people.
I remember, because I know Megan was running the table, right? And then,
Yeah, I
was
don't
there
know
something,
if Kenna was.
Kenna Fry? Okay.
Yeah, Kenna was there, but I don't know if she was walking around with. Spike.
Okay. Well, Kenna's great as well, and I mean, all of them we have with the fire department. So whichever one it was, they all do a great job, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't Kenna. So, yeah.
You could tell the care that they really shared with the kids. They didn't talk down to them. They didn't talk over their head. They talked to them and they made the kids feel good, and everybody's running around with a fire hat on. And even some big kids had them on.
Yeah,
You know, they thought that was cool. They got a fireman's hat. So the little things that you guys do that really makes this thing a success, and thank you so much for that. So,
I like the fire hydrants, the things, the little bags in it.
Oh, yeah, aren't those great?
I said, I wish I had a dog. I really didn't think I should take one. So I didn't have a dog. I thought they were cute.
yeah, they were. We're actually excited. Actually, thank you for coming tonight. I know you get here as much as you can, but I would like to know if you would, Jeff's not here tonight, would you like to speak on behalf of the city and your neighborhoods?
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is, I'm not gonna let, Chief off pretending that the Cedar Rapids Fire Department isn't just like a jewel that we have in the city. So he's very humble, but we're really, really lucky to have such an accredited, fire department and to have the best of the best. That's just the truth. So he doesn't toot his own horn, but I'll do that for him. Sorry that I missed the safety fair. I had quite a few things I had to be out of town for that weekend, but I had a family wedding. And unfortunately, I did lose Lady this year, so she wouldn't have been able to join anyway. But I was really proud of you guys having that again. I think it's the first one I've missed, so I'm glad that you all are still having that. It was a pretty full weekend that day. There was the bike ride and then also the parade as well. Yep. So anyway, sometimes I do have to be away. But you know, there's always great things going on. Farmers markets have been incredibly full. It's the biggest markets that we've seen, just like in physical space, but the markets have a lot of great things. So if you haven't been getting there, please take the time to go there. Nuevo City Market has events almost every Friday, Saturday as well. So please get out and check those things out too. And then, you know, I know you all are very aware of our progress here on First Avenue, but just pardon our progress. I know that this has been, the cones have been moving a little bit back and forth, but I appreciate you all just navigating that with us as we try to get this finished up and get.
8th Avenue is wonderful.
Yeah.
15 down to Rockford is just tremendous.
There's a lot of construction along First right now. Again, I just keep saying pardon our progress. I've been doing this long enough that it's pretty amazing to just like drive throughout the city and reflect on like all the things we've done just in, you know, 6 short years. So, yeah.
Off Edgewood Road down, Avenue.
Oh, Avenue is like
You
fancy.
get to the top of the hill, when you turn, you look down and you see all that new and the lights.
Fancy.
It's like,
Amazing how much
wow.
different it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
this is
Yeah,
just
it's great.
gorgeous down through there. Our trees are small now, but you can see them growing over the last few years all over the place. The ones that have been planted, more to happen, but they are really starting to get some size to them. And I don't see too long before we're gonna see canopy starting to form again. So
Oh,
hats off to what you guys are doing with the trees forever to make that
Yeah,
happen.
and you know what, there were some, if you got your water bill already, there were some really good rebates in there, up to $2,000 for some rain garden. I know that some people do some of that stuff in their yards, particularly in Canada. So just take a look at it. There's a few incentives in there. If you have an old toilet, for example, you can replace that with a $50 rebate to get a high efficiency one. I know I did that one year and my water bill was like $8 after my rebates. So there's some in there about a rain barrel as well. So as you're working on some of your gardening and sustainability things, just take a look at your water bill and there's some information about how to access those programs.
I might have a little bit to add on to that.
You're next.
Unless, do you want to do questions?
Yeah, and does anybody have any questions for
Any
me?
question for? She runs all over the United States and probably other countries to find out what people are doing, and she brings it back with the why can't we attitude. So when you see something out there, the gardens, it's why can't we? And she's saying we can. This is just how we gotta do it. So we thank you so much for making
Yeah,
those
I
efforts.
appreciate that. I flew back in from DC this morning. I got to try the new DCA to Cedar Rapids flight. There was, last year, I think you remember that I went overseas on a diplomacy tour, and that exchange group now, a different group of people, but they came to the US yesterday. So I was in DC last night welcoming them to the US, so kind of a neat deal. But they're not coming to Iowa, unfortunately, so I had to bring a little bit of Iowa to them.
All right.
They're gonna go to North Carolina next, but anyway, just trying to keep Iowa on their mind a bit.
Now we had a submarine.
Oh, yeah,
After that.
yeah.
So, well, if you have no questions for Councilman Van Roney, we can move on to the leader of the pack.
I will. I'll give a couple quick updates here, just neighborhood specific. All accounts, it was an awesome 4th annual fair last weekend. And we had Pride, we had the Pride Parade, and then we had the Ride the Districts ride, which got us over here too, by the way. But Cedar Rapids is not flat. Anyone who ever said that, it's actually not flat. One of the new trails and bike boulevards, I don't know if you've had a chance to see those, really cool. We've got a really good stretch. It's literally called the Bike Boulevard. Connects Morgan Creek Park to Cherokee Park, so it's not far from here on bike, actually. That was really cool. Specific updates to Cleveland Park. So we always check on the splash pads this time of year, and it looks like a new controller was installed in the spring that's been waiting for some part. That it's arrived
It's
and will be installed in the next few days. Okay. New locks.
Today working on it.
Oh, good. Good. Today? They were here? That's good.
Or had the door open, I presume that's what they were doing.
Sweet. Also, new locks are on the restroom doors, so they'll automatically lock and unlock between 6 a.m. and 10 p. Swing set will be extended. Looks like that's scheduled for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And some ADA improvements happening later in the summer, mostly around the concrete, the splash pad, and the pavilion. Parking lot extension also set for possible construction in late summer and early fall. I will say everything's like, that's
I
optimistic.
don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind. It's okay.
And it says, the last update I have here about staff are compiling estimates for peak roof replacements on the restroom and pavilion. You guys know all about the neighborhood events, the Rollin' Recmobile, you have all those
They were
dates.
there.
Today.
Yeah, he was there
Okay.
today, and they were there Saturday. And the lady from the Rolling Rec said that she requested to come to the park for our event. She said,
Oh,
I was
fun.
there, true. She says,
That's
I
so,
told them I will do Saturday, but this is where I'm gonna do.
that's awesome.
Okay,
That's
so-
awesome.
And then the park, library also had their
That's so cool.
mobile there, and they had a couple ladies there that really worked well with the kids, so.
It looks like that library mobile technology van is here on Wednesdays. You guys have all that, so I won't go into that. And the municipal band's gonna play at Cleveland School on July 19th at 6:30. Overall, just city updates. You should know that Clean and Safe CR, the Cedar Rapids City Council meets every year to put together our priorities, and this is a priority for the city. It's a shame we have to say a clean city is a priority for a city, but we've found opportunities to be more intentional in certain spots. So we are taking every advantage. And I know you guys are active with the One Bag Challenge. So the city manager sends his thanks on that because it does take a village to do that. Have anybody heard of the Downtown Vision Plan or taken the survey about downtown? Okay, well, a Downtown Vision Plan is underway. We sent out survey a couple weeks ago. It was last updated in 2017. So it's been a minute since we did that. Not to mention the world has changed in how we use our downtown. So the city took the steps to hire a outside firm. Actually, this firm is out of Denver, and through a series of roundtables with various groups all over the city, frankly, in addition to the survey, we're working to put a new update together, whether that's more housing, converting commercial into housing, more green space, we don't know yet. But that's in process. Also, we mentioned construction on the west side. The west side flood control, road work, and First and First West, a few updates. Currently underway in the west side is that flood wall, portion of flood wall and levee that ties I-380 and will take the First Street Northwest up and over the system. Several paving for progress projects, as well as Ellis Boulevard, 6th Street Southwest Connector, and First Avenue West Improvement Project. That's a bit of a cluster if you've been over there right now. It's gonna end well. Work is, yeah, it's good. Work is moving along fast at First and First West. I drove by there on the way or two, it's crazy. And their big growth is hoping to be open this fall. So we're gonna hold them to that.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, walls
I know.
just went up. It was like nothing, and then walls.
I know, it feels like, and you see the
It looked
two,
really neat.
the Pickle Palace, which is the pickleball place, and then the Big Grove. And then I don't know if you noticed behind it, there's mixed use. And there's also a hotel is gonna be going in over there too. So we aren't able to officially release the name of the hotel, but it's a nice hotel. It's gonna be good.
A good use of that space.
Where the Dairy Queen was, that corner, is something going in there?
Parking ramp's going over there, isn't it?
There's gonna be a city parking ramp.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know Northwest over there, but everybody knows where the Dairy Queen was.
Yes, good point. There's also something new, and I can leave you some flyers here. A first ever Mayor's Youth Conference coming up on October 9th. It's gonna be at the public library. This is really a day of, we're calling it exploration and connection with our high school kids and area professionals. We want our young people to see themselves here, and this is one of the ways we're gonna work to do that. So seats are limited there. So if you have a young person, high school age, and I would say even 8th graders, we could push it and say 8th graders, just as they're beginning to chart their path. I'll leave some of those here for you. And then city staff and I are heading to DC tomorrow through Thursday, meeting with our congressional delegation and some senior officials at the Pentagon tomorrow regarding, the Iowa DOT as well, regarding some projects that we want and need support for, including our flood protection plan, which is 70% of the way paid for, but we're gonna go ask for some more, make our case. And everything you can imagine is more these days too. So we have great story to tell, but we need to tell it. So we'll be meeting with Ernst's team, Henson's team, Grassley's team, as well as the Army Corps, and as well as the DOT on that trip. And then we will be home Thursday. Thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I think that survey, I found it, but I think that vision plan did close.
It's done, yeah. That's why I'm disappointed that you guys didn't. I think we had something like,
What's the hotspot thing going on that Jeff was putting out last week? Hotspots in Cedar Rapids. Are you aware of that?
spots, crime hots.
No.
Here, I think the
Temperature, hotspots and temperature.
Oh,
Yeah, they're looking for volunteers.
oh,
Did I skip that one?
yeah,
Oh, yep. So that's the help us gather temperature data on the hottest day of the year. So it's helping to identify urban heat islands. So there's a QR code and the information is in there. So it looks like volunteers help collect data in your neighborhood this summer by utilizing portable provided sensors, mounted on vehicles and bicycles. Sensors will record temperature, humidity, time, and location. Volunteers will be given a $15 gift card for participating in training, an additional $50 gift card if selected. So again, to sign up or to put your name in is via that.
we get asked about that too, when we're asking for tree money. We make a case about how much hotter our city is. We can actually measure how much hotter things are, so.
Yeah, I should call the ambulance.
Is that how like the spaces for like the heat relief centers are decided, or how are those chosen?
Those are actually through the county emergency management agency does that. So we try to release what those locations are, but EMA works with all of those partners to do that.
So this is more or less to give you information as how much hotter we are now without the trees as we were in 2015 when we had so many trees.
Gathering data.
And gathering data for that. Sounds great. Okay, any questions for the mayor? Thank you so much for coming tonight, we sure appreciate it.
You know, for years, this community had an issue with, lack of, low-income housing, and I know there's been a lot of building the last few years, and I'm just wondering, because some of that, but I don't know if the, for the low income, do we have a shortage of low-income housing yet?
We do. We still have a shortage of low-income housing. We've got something like 1,000 units going up right now, in process right now, and that's a mix. There is some affordable housing. There's some good incentives for developers. For example, there's a really great project going up over by the post office that is a collaboration with Foundation 2, where it'll be really a resource center as well as some low-income housing and market rate. So in order to get some of those tax credits, you have to have a certain amount of low income. So yes, not enough, but
Start.
yeah, we're just short on housing options, period. I mean, a feasibility study shows us, I mean, I forget the exact number, but by 2030, and we're gonna need thousands more. And that's single family housing too, as well as the apartments and condos, so.
So many apartments and condos going up.
Well, I know it's hard to imagine, but so we were short prior to derecho, and derecho just took a pummeling on our housing stock. And so even though it looks like it's so much more, we also had 10% growth with the census. So we're struggling to keep up with that. It's just, you have to be building continuously to be able to meet that and get everybody housed. So I know that we've got an awesome team who's just, powering through that. But there's a lot more to go for sure.
I think the other side of that is we continue to have, I would say at least monthly, I have an opportunity to visit with new companies. I mean, as well as you see the existing companies that are expanding here, we have companies that are so interested in Cedar Rapids, because I've had people say to me, why are you building all this stuff? Well, our housing feasibility study shows us we need thousands more. This is just a drop in the bucket. But the other side of that is, we don't foresee a huge drop in industry. One of the things that has really been a strength for us, which makes us so different than the south end of the corridor, which is education and healthcare. We have such a variety of industry here. And we put out, this is gonna sound funny, we have to be known for something, but we put out really good waste. So for example, the companies that, I've talked to 2 really great international companies that are interested in the waste that we put out, that our industry puts out, the International Paper puts out, that Cargill puts out. They can use it for another product. So we're fortunate in so many ways. It's good to be lucky sometimes, but we also, to our credit, I can't say enough about our, our water team too. I mean, our infrastructure in Cedar Rapids also sets us apart, certainly from any of the cities around us. Not everybody has the capacity we have, so that companies, large size companies in industry, can look at Cedar Rapids because we're so well positioned to be able to support their infrastructure needs. Yeah, it's a good sign, but the other thing I'll point out, just because I have an audience, is this missing middle we call for income. So when I talk as mayor about recruiting people, getting new people to come and helping people here sort of level up, we've got this real gap in housing that, you may make really good, you may make $50,000 or $60,000 a year, but if you're a kid with debt, you make too much for low income, and you're not where market rate is either. So we've got this sort of missing middle, which is our young professionals. And sometimes they do qualify for the lower income, but those are the people we want, to come here, and we've got to make sure we're having good places, good options for them too. Yeah.
Boy, on the flood, think how much low income we lost in the flood. I mean, and then the derecho.
Yeah.
We can't build back in many of those places anymore,
Yeah.
just because of it.
I just think
Now we have to find other places to do that in. you don't have any other places like the Rompot or the Czech Village or the Time Check area. You just don't have anything outside of the downtown that would equal to what that offered. Because everybody else is built there now, where do you put those people? And that's a pretty tough decision for you guys to come up with. So, very tough. Okay, any other questions? Without further ado, Matt, thank you for coming.
Yep.
What do you have to share with us
I'm
tonight?
Matt Wagner, Safe CR Coordinator. So far, through the first part of June, we've received 498 founded calls for service in regards to nuisance properties. We've received 16 nuisance property abatement plans, which is up from years past. We're excited to see that. That just shows that when people are receiving notices from us, they're taking an active role in trying to bring their property into compliance. So far, we have a total of 550 active nuisance properties. Of that, 192 are rental and 358 are owner occupied. So that's an interesting stat there, that our rental property owners are keeping the founded calls for service down and the nuisance property designations down as well. Starting to see more fireworks calls. Other neighborhood meetings, the district lieutenants have talked about, if you need to call in, you can call in to dispatch about fireworks, but just know that they're prioritized based off of the volume and if they're going to cause property damage. So if there's a huge display going off in your neighborhood, call in, but definitely let them know if it's just, a couple single fireworks or if it's a huge display that could cause property damage or death for people. Only sparklers, snaps, and snakes are permitted in Cedar Rapids, it looks like. Other than that, that's all I have.
What do you hear from neighbors? Do they wish they had fireworks within city limits, or people mostly glad there's?
We're in all the neighborhood over here, and most of them do not care for them.
Don't want them.
They do not understand why they allow them back in the state, because it does no good. It's nothing more than a few people that sell them, and then the people that fire them off, and our call to services skyrocket. Fire department has to run out and put out the fires. They start a lot in a row with people, so we're going to have a different view than younger people that say, "Oh, they're fun to watch," but
I don't know if that's the case.
what's the upside to this?
Well, no, I hear from both sides, I would say most people in town are glad we don't have them.
Oh, yeah.
But I do occasionally hear from people that.
We have two neighbors that are younger families, and they explicitly purchase their fireworks, and then they go out of town to do the shows.
Yeah.
I'm at the top of the Chandler Loop, and it's basically 50% younger people / rental owners that don't have any vested interest in the property, and then 50% of retired people age. So it's really, it literally is a mixed bag. But luckily, we've been lucky that those individuals that are really hyped about the fireworks being sold here don't blow them off in town.
Right.
So we're lucky in that regard, but not every neighborhood is.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't like the safety issue in our park.
Yeah, Cleveland Park seems to be a place where people just like to have the sparklers and the snaps and
And fireworks.
yeah, at first, and then now that they're more readily available,
But when they
people
have-
like to blow the big ones off. This is not the best place.
But when fireworks was legal that one year, the next day, there was all kinds of debris in the park.
Remember that we had big fireworks all the way from the pavilion clear out to the softball field. Every so many feet, there was another one. And these are the big
Yeah, they leave a
Roman
mess.
candles, and they blacken the sidewalk, there's garbage all over,
Expired or.
and they walked away and left the mess there.
Well, I think
So-
we're going to be really careful this year too. I mean, nothing has changed policy-wise, but it's very dry right now. So I know that the same thing happens at Wilson, which I, butt up against. A lot of people go to that field, that openness to launch any of the fireworks that are still illegal. but for the same thing. If you see that, just call it in. There's gonna be more concerns this year because this is like derecho dry. If you'll remember that there was just a lot of notifications about how dry it was and the cause for sparks and fires and things like that. I think there was also, Chief, was that CRFD or CRPD? There's really a powerful graphic though of just hand explosions
I
from
think it was
people.
put on the phone.
Okay, if you have a chance to see it, it's something just to take into consideration. There's a reason that, you know, those should be used by licensed professionals. So just some of those injuries you can't come back from, as far as the mutilations to your hands, so.
Not just your hands, your eyes too.
Right, yeah.
My dad was legally blind because an M80 firecracker blew in his eye.
Oh.
So it's very dangerous, yes.
And I'm saying that as a person who loves fireworks, but
Yeah.
it's just not something that like.
Let the professionals do it.
Well, they're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's right. I mean, I saw the people standing out on First watching the Colonel's fireworks for their big show this weekend. And you can do that. I mean, you can easily do that and just in this neighborhood, just be around and still take advantage of the beautiful fireworks show.
Yeah, stand on the back
That's right.
of St. Jefferson, come on.
Out in the backyard,
that's
sitting under the stars.
Good seats.
Okay, yes,
And if you're
yes.
following along, they won their Western Divisional, so they're doing really, really well this year.
And did they have record attendance on
Yes.
Saturday?
The highest in 5 years.
Yeah, their capacity I think was like 5,300 and they had like 5,036 people.
Well, that
I saw the
Wednesday-
picture, it was insane.
Were you with the teams on Wednesday? The city teams went to the game on, I think it was
No, the
Wednesday.
city manager's office did, I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but yeah, that's.
Oh my gosh, packed, like not a parking space. I think it was like 3,000 people on a weekday
Yeah, that's awesome.
at lunch.
A week ago Sunday, we went and the place
It
was just, so they're getting good crowds out
It's all
there.
good.
They really are, and they're playing some good ball too. So, anything more for Matt? Matt, thanks
Any
again
other
for coming.
nuisance things anybody needs to talk about? Make sure that you're using the MyCR app. If anything comes up, put all the information you can provide. It's always best to not be anonymous so that we can make contact with you if we need some more clarification. You'd be surprised how many people put things in anonymously that we need a little bit more clarification before city staff go out to investigate. So having that information is awesome.
Or you can just email us. We'll go on that.
Okay, our next is the Community Safety and Wellness Fair. Our wrap up for it. We had a wonderful day Saturday. Do you have the figures?
You're gonna ask, hold on. Sorry.
This was the 4th annual, is that right?
While you're doing that, we had great sponsorship this year from Hy-Vee, who gave us hot dogs, buns, and a great discount on the other things we had. Reached out to Fairway, and they were very excited to give us bottled water and these frozen icicle things.
Nice.
It was 160 of those. We froze in my freezer and handed out, and we had like 3 or 4 left at the end of the day. Staples, can't say enough about them. Adam is the new manager there, and they brought out tons of stuff for the kids. I mean, she had the back of her van full of boxes and stuff. Denise handed them out, and she was busy giving everybody the stuff they needed to, so Staples really stepped up for us. We worked with Hillside Church, was new they worked with us on the project this year for the first time. We're very happy to have them on board, along with Central Church, of course, who's been here since the very start. So great sponsorship. My wife's niece gave a nice 20-inch bicycle, like a dirt bike, but 5-10 speed or whatever. And I had a almost brand new 14-inch with training wheels that we cleaned up and checked them all over, and we donated them. And 2 young people went home with pretty cool bikes, and they're really enjoying that. We gave out 68 helmets. We bought 50, but they had some left over, I think she said. So we gave out from last year, so we gave out almost 68 helmets to the youth that came. And that was bought by Stuart Baxter.
Memorial
Yeah.
Services.
Yes, they write a check. He said, I'd rather write a check for these than order a box for a kid. So he's very excited. We also we also gave away 2 car seats. And what we did, we asked parents, if you need a car seat or have a young child that needs to be in a car seat, sign up for. And so we did have 2. One gentleman, when he won it, I'm looking at him like, really? Because him and his child were there, and he said, oh yeah, I got a 10-month-old. And I'm totally, knocking me off my, really, this guy signed up for a seat? And then I realized, yeah, guys get to do that too. So anyhow, so we bought and paid for that, and we're working with the police department. They will make an appointment. They'll come down, they'll install it for them. And so 2 people went home with needed car seats that they have put into us. We had 18 stations that were nonprofits, a couple of churches, our group was there. We had, again, the park and rec and the library. And everybody was really having a good time with the kids. The kids were really excited to go to the stations and get the things that we're handing out, but it was also for the parents to learn about opportunities for them that they may not know about. And several said that they made contact with people that they were going to be able to help. So that was a plus for us on that. And of course, we had our 4 mascots. Herky was there for an hour or so, Mr. Shucks, and Sparky and Gruff. And they're always great for the kids. The kids always look forward to seeing them. And that was a plus for it. Gave out almost 180 hot dogs. We had chips, we had cookies and water, and the church, Hillside Church, her wonderful husband's got this huge grill on wheels that he cooked the hot dogs and stuff for us, but he can do up to 10 or 12 racks of ribs in there. And they had a big bull on the side of it, so cool pictures of the big old longhorn cow that's actually a grill, if I saw it right.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can make smoke roll out its nose. It's kind of fun. You can't cook a whole lot on it, but
So cool.
yeah, it's fun.
So it was fun, and they did a wonderful job for us, keeping up with it and keeping on top of everything. They ran the concession stand for us, or the concessions for us today. So it's kind of a lot like we did last year as far as the layout and stuff, but we improved, we felt, and even with everything that's going on, we think we're pretty sure that we've got another 40 kids that we hadn't had before, so we've been able to increase our participation children-wise up almost 40 people.
Where do you advertise it?
Out here in front, she does it on all the
We
Facebooks.
run
Yes,
Facebook
online.
ads, we do all the free, like, Cedar Rapids Newsroom, Economic Alliance, Hoopla, like Penny Saver, Macaroni Kid. We do a press release to all the news stations.
On our websites.
Yeah, we don't do any paid ads through like Google or anything, but basically all the event calendars, so it gets populated on pretty much any event planning site you go to in Cedar Rapids. So we're talking about the stats ahead of time, and it's like, 8,000 people saw the event and we had 150, which is still pretty great, because I'm afraid, like, what if 500 people showed up? Holy cow. That'd be terrifying. But it would also be great, because it's hard.
Have a place to park.
Yeah, it's hard because you want it to be in like a sweet spot where you don't have too many people, where people don't feel like they're getting a great experience, but you don't want too few people to make it feel like it's not worth doing. And that 150 to 250 seems to be like that sweet spot that we just want to kind of stay in. So it's also hard to not market. You have to market to all of Cedar Rapids, even though you really want mostly neighbors to attend. But I think the only thing we didn't really talk about at our meeting, but one thing that I think would be nice to improve on is making it more inclusive for the older people that attend. Because yes, it's really a kids-driven fair, but a lot of the older people in our neighborhood still like to come and have a free lunch. So that's one thing might be fun to change.
Well, and we have more, like, the Heritage Center for Aging. I mean, we have opportunities for social interaction too. Four Oaks, now at Four Oaks, the Bridge, several days a week. There's regular lunch and events, and I think,
But the older ones that do come like to watch the kids.
in that
They
too.
enjoy seeing the kids and what they're going on and just be a part of
Sure.
an event in their
I
area.
get that,
I
yeah.
even had one or two go to the fish pond.
Okay, that's awfully
And we
sweet.
ask every single person how they hear about us on the passport, so if they're filling it out honestly, last year we spent a ton of money on postcards to send, we spent like $750 to send a postcard to every neighbor, and we had 2 people say they came because they got a postcard.
Oh,
Everybody else said they saw it on Facebook or an online event calendar, so why are we gonna waste $750 sending out postcards? Probably not the best spend for our money. So we've learned over the years and just keep tweaking it every year.
that's great.
But it was, and there, it was great to see the diversity, so many people, different walks of life that were there and all enjoying each other's company. We had no complaints this year from anybody on anything.
That's great.
Kids all had a fun time.
There's always one.
There's always one, there was none.
Yeah,
That's
but,
great.
yeah, we just really felt that we reached out, this is reaching out into the community, and as everybody's getting a chance to come and be a part of it, and that was important to us, to make it so that anybody that wants to come and be here.
I think we had a few
do the
more
same.
of the
That's cool.
African immigrants this year. Not a large number, but probably more than we've had
Yes,
before.
yeah. I butchered up a few names when we were announcing the winners,
It's not
but
hard to
it's
do.
like, whoa. But we got through and we apologized for each one and everybody got a laugh out of it, so we had a good time with that, so. But we feel it was success for what we set out to do, we achieved, and we saw an increase, and that's what we were hoping for, is a moderate increase each year to, and what we learned from this year, we'll use next year. And as she said, of the 18, most all of them have asked to come back again next year. They want to participate next year again, so it's nice to have when you look down that row and you see 18 stations and all these kids and parents, and they're all going through and they end up at the fish pond at the very end. And she had 78,
75. I had
75.
75 fish. They were little bags with goodies in them.
Oh, that's fun.
In the pole with the,
Whole pen.
yeah, the old clothespin on it, and they throw it over and it had a fish on the back.
Okay,
It
that's
was
so
awesome. So
That's
it was good too. So thanks for everybody that helped make this work, from our sponsorship to our volunteers to the city for giving us a great park in order to do this. And many people say that they love coming to our park because it's a neat place to go. It's a destination for them. They want to come and enjoy the park, and looking forward to the new additions that we're putting on, and how much it's going to change the looks of our, in a positive way. So the city
We'll share
parks
that.
department has been awesome. The fire department, police department's been great to work with, and the city as a whole has just been very supportive of us, and that makes it a whole lot easier and a lot more fun to do.
Well, and you need to take some ownership for that too. That's a two-way street,
Oh,
Easy to work with engaged communities. So thank you.
well, we're getting the new swings, some more new swing sets, and we're getting some concrete work done. We're gonna get a parking lot, nice parking lot. We felt 9 years ago when we started this, right after the Duray show, when this all happened, it was actually after the flood, when they were trying to find a place for the Northwest use building, that this all came in to be. And we've always, our goal's always been to make Cleveland Park a destination, someplace that people are gonna say, hey, let's go to Cleveland Park, because they've got a good place for our kids to go enjoy. So, yeah, what we've added on and what we've got planned for the near future for the park, it's gonna be a plus to make it an extra place. So,
On to National Night Out.
National Night Out, we got 6 minutes left. I could talk about the safety fair all night because it was so much fun. I didn't sleep the night before, but.
I need a break from safety fair stuff for a while.
All right.
But because we split up last year.
There we are.
The safety fair was like 2 weeks before National Night Out, and we just didn't have the resources, we didn't have the people, we didn't have the time to prep for National Night Out, so we ended up directing everybody to Hillside. This year, we're going to partner with Hillside. We're planning a little bit better this year. So we're still, to my knowledge, unless anyone else has anything they want to change, add, modify, the plan will be 5:30 to 7 at Cleveland Park, potluck style. I'll need to communicate that with Lieutenant Welsh with an official time. Only reason I suggest that is because that's what we've done in past years. Does not mean we have to do it at the same time. Does not mean we have to do it the same way. We're open to any kind of feedback. Usually we'll buy some sort of entree like hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever. I don't know if John really wants to grill again. You down? Okay, cool. John wants to grill. That's
We are on board.
awesome. We'll provide some sort of entree, just so there's definitely entrees, and then we actually encourage neighbors to bring a side.
Okay.
Brisket, ribs,
Yeah.
hot some
Yes,
baked
so we
potatoes.
will do a
salad.
Facebook event for it, and we will,
Got a
in
band,
the
a rock
past,
and roll band we can send out to the side.
in the past, we haven't spent any money advertising it, but I wouldn't be opposed to just making a motion to spend $50 on a Facebook advertisement that's strictly 5-mile radius around where we are, because if people are seeing the ads on Facebook, even if they're not from the neighborhood, let's get them out. Like, why not? It's $50. I don't think that's super expensive, so that would be my formal motion, is to spend $50 on paid advertising for the National Night Out event.
I need a second. Denise, you seconded it?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so pass.
What night was it again? I'm sorry.
Tuesday, August 1st.
First
And I'll make
Tuesday
sure
of
to
the month.
communicate that with Lieutenant Welsh, so he knows, obviously to have, PRP there. I don't know, I don't think fires ever come out like.
We,
formal.
we
had fire at our.
have, I think there's enough of them. It kind of depends on how many are in each
Okay,
district.
sure.
So sometimes, you know, if we get a district that has 3 or 4 of them, it's hard to make, but we do try to send the ladder truck and the rescue to some of those.
Mhm.
And they may stop by for a few minutes, depends on how many they've got and
Yeah,
that type of
just stop
stuff.
by and just-
Yeah, we put it on the schedule and certainly do request they stop by as many as they can.
That'd be great.
I've been there when the crops.
Yeah, they try to hit like 5 or 6 with McGraw.
Yeah.
He came to Hillside, so since
Yeah,
we won't, maybe.
Yeah, he came to 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Somewhere back there, yeah.
Okay, we got a couple minutes left, our other business.
You haven't answered something I inquired about a while ago on the, weeds for the compost for the yardie.
Mhm.
And in Cedar Rapids, it's only wild garlic mustard. So,
Need money?
Should we put that on the new budget?
Other Delmaya's doing, I know the stuff that I bought for our parks, the 2 gardens here, I never turned it in yet, and I don't know if I did or not.
Well, maybe put that on
Hold on until after the
the new
new
year.
year,
That's
yeah, in the
fine.
fall. We
I
we
just
can put
found the
that up
note.
for the spring.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one.
I have one last garden-related thing. If you like putting coffee grounds in your garden beds or in your planting, I just saw that Starbucks has a new initiative where you can go there and get free spent grounds. So if you're picking up coffee, they just have like nice little bags and they are marked as free, so. Yeah.
Cool.
And if you're.
But sometimes they leak. Be
Say,
careful, sometimes they
little
leak.
hot water.
I made that mistake. Yes.
Carry
I
a
got
cup with
five-
you.
I got
Cold
5
coffee.
pounds, and it was in this nice bag folded over, and the next day I was like, the car smells like coffee.
Yeah.
It leaked a little.
That's not really a bad
So
sound.
be careful.
There you go. Okay, one last thing is, June 31st is the end of our fiscal year. And we have somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $4,000 that we still have in our budget with the city. I have talked to, our parks, guy,
Mr. Taylor,
huh?
Hashem Taylor, the director? No.
No, not that. Tyler Wolf. And I get to Tyler. We talked about ADA compliant picnic tables for under the pavilion. And he said that was gonna cost us about $6,000 to $8,000 for them. And he would like to know if we'd be interested in helping to pay for a new roof on the pavilion, because this one's falling apart. And we want to put a pitched roof on it so we have better drainage. He's working with getting some bids on it. I don't know what it's going to be, but I said I won't have enough for all of it, but what we have left, I'd be more than willing to put towards improving the roof on it. If we can use this and maybe steal from next year's a little bit to get the project what we can afford, and then the city will probably have to match it or make something work, but we want to participate so we know that that we're serious about getting it done. So does anybody have any feelings on why we would not want to give what we have left towards the new roof on our pavilion?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a good place for the money to go.
I do have one question though, like,
Sure.
maybe it's a dumb question, but the soffit or whatever, like underneath,
Yeah.
is that gonna be completely done not in wood?
I don't know what's gonna be done in, but we're gonna try not to, because the plywood's falling apart
Yeah.
and the stuff's falling.
Yeah, I
So,
just wanna make sure
as they
that
do the
that-
roof, then they'll do the ceiling and the soffits also, the way Tyler's got it figured out on it. So, all in favor of donating what we have left towards the
Wait,
new
wait,
roof
second
on that?
to your motion?
Denise seconded.
Motion did? Okay.
Didn't you say, I think that's a great idea?
Is that your second?
Slide it in where you can, George, slide it in where you can.
All right, within the next week or so, I'll know how much.
So Mary, you like how I run my
I
meetings?
mean, I don't like city council. No.
Anyway, if there isn't no other new business, then make the motion, we adjourn.
Did we vote? Sorry, I missed that too.
Yeah, raise your hand.
Oh, jeez.
You did, I did. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
It's too nice out.
I'll get
Thank
that
you.
in for you.
Thank you all for coming,
Nicole,
Mayor.
do
Thank
you
you so
have
much.
a place for any of these flyers? Or should I just,
I could take one or two for our, I wouldn't
Yeah,
take more than two, I
sure.
don't waste them. Yeah, George could put it in our kiosk, we have a little,
Three of them.
oh, yeah.